Hi, everybody. Dan Ilman, Mike Beer. Nice card at Woodbine on Saturday. One of the major attractions, race number 10. It's the Grade 2 Canadian Fillies and Mares going a one-turn mile and an eighth on the spacious E.P. Taylor turf course. Let's take a look at this field. They're running for $200,000. 7 in here, Mike, but really a lot of quality. You could make a case for the first 6 horses in this race. And the number 7, Ready Lady, she's shown some things in her career and might be ready to roll second off the layoff. So they all got a shot.
Yeah, it's a good field. You're right. Very, very well matched. I feel like you can make cases for just about everybody in here. Dan, pace, I think, probably going to be pretty important in here. We'll see who can pull the right kind of a trip. There's enough speed, I think, to set it up for the closers.
It's going to be interesting to see how this pace plays out, Mike, because there are 2 main speeds in this race, and they're the 2 morning line favorites. Fev Rover has really put up her game in her last few starts. She's capable from off the pace. Mr. Karras has also won from off of it. But who's going to make the lead in here? Is it simply just a situation of who outbreaks the other?
Yeah, it could be. The break will certainly be important as far as those 2 horses are concerned. But you're right. I mean, it feels like they found a new running style for the 3, Mr. Karras, at the end of last year. It worked really well for her, and she came off the layoff this year with a big front-running win in a Grade 2. So, I mean, that's her new style, Dan. I'm imagining they're going to go in this race. And Fev Rover, she just wired a Grade 1 in her most recent start. They don't have to send with her, but I think they're going to come out of there and go forward.
Fev Rover is the defending champion in this race, and it's safe to say that right now she's one of the top 5 filly and mare turf horses in all of North America. She looked so good winning the Nassau in her seasonal debut, going a one-turn mile where she fell off of the pace and she just squeezed on through, and she won very, very easily. She just missed in a quality edition of the Diana 2 starts back, and then last time out, I love what Javier did. Took the bull by the horns, made the lead, realized he was on the best horse, and she proved that by sprinting on home.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she got a great ride last time because that race was a little bit slow to develop early. So he just took charge of that race. And then he had plenty of horse left when he decided to pick up that pace and start sprinting for home. He had plenty of horse left. Fev Rover did the rest in there. It was a really good performance. I like all of her races since she's arrived in North America, Dan. She's obviously a really good horse. She doesn't need the lead, but I think she will be forward in here. Are we concerned at all about distance with this horse? I know that she just won at a mile and 3/16. Is she a little better going shorter? What are your thoughts on that?
I like her at a mile and an eighth. I don't mind it at all. I think she's very, very versatile, not only from a running style standpoint, but from a distance standpoint. And especially with the tactical speed she shows, you can pull her kind of trip. I'm really not too concerned about the distance for Fev Rover. Moira, the number 2, is one of the more popular horses in Canada, and why not? She swept through the Woodbine Oaks and the Queen's Plate last year. Now, both of those races are on synthetic, but she's also run very well on turf without winning, including her most recent start where she finished second in the Dan Smartley. She got wired that day, and I just get the feeling that she's slowly rounding herself back into form. I think she's going to trip out in behind the speeds.
I think there's a good trip coming as well. I agree with your take. I think she maybe slowly is sort of rounding back into good form, but let's be honest here. She's going to have to take a step forward if she's going to beat a field of this kind of quality. And you've already pointed out, Dan, she hasn't won on turf yet. She's run fine on the grass. She handles this surface for sure, but she's going to need, at least in my opinion, I think she might need to run the race of her life if she's going to beat this field. And it's not like she's some kind of great price on the morning line.
Now let's watch the 3, Mr. Karras. She beat several of these horses last time out in the Dan Smartley, and she got a very nice trip on the lead. This is a race, Mike, where maybe it's a little bit better than it looks. Even though she had a good trip, it was her first start off of a lengthy layoff. Moira, it seems, has every chance on the outside. Mr. Karras seems to find a little bit more. Neil Drysdale's managed this mare very well.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at this race the same way you are. I mean, I think we should, though, just point out that Mr. Karras had a pretty soft trip on the lead in this race because she had no trouble clearing. Nobody else went. And so she really was able to establish control of that race early. I don't want to say that she was walking on the lead, but she was taking no pressure up there. She was always in control. And then as you just saw through the stretch there, she never really gave Moira any kind of a chance in that race. She won that race pretty easily. I like her, Dan. I've liked her right from the start, and the new running style is really working out from her.
Skims, the number 4, has always been a solid horse for Shug McGahee, a graded stakes winner, but maybe she's one of those Shug horses that's starting to find herself as she's gotten older. Let's watch her most recent start. This is a high-level third level allowance at Belmont. And as we turn into the stretch, Skims is in behind horses, and Johnny V is going to find the hole at just the right time. And let's give credit to Skims because she scoots on through and wins going away.
Yeah, she comes with a really good finish in this race. The trip obviously worked out for her, but she comes right on through between, and she is going away from this field at the end. This is a strong performance. Also going this 9 furlong distance, Dan. The most recent start over this trip, the Grade 2 Sands Point last October, another really good performance going this distance, and a great ride from Johnny that day. Also, he just sensed there was no pace. He went forward and got position, and she did the rest in there. She stays all day long. She can get any kind of a trip in a race. There could be another forward move coming. There's plenty to like about this horse.
If the 1 and the 3 go at it early, it could set things up for a closer like the 5, Atomic Blonde, who's hit the board in all 4 starts in North America without winning. Now, she didn't get a lot of pace last time out in this race. The big Dreyfus at Laurel, she's sort of in behind horses turning into the stretch. The horses that are going to get the job done have made their runs. Now Atomic Blonde gets to the outside, and I think she's more of a grinding type. I don't think she has an explosive push button bid, but she's going to get up for second. I think it's a good performance. I think she's going to be charging late in here.
Yeah, I agree. I think each of her last 2 starts are kind of slimmer. I mean, I don't think you could, if you just watched them, you'd think, oh, well, she was only second best and didn't really come that close to winning. But neither one of those races set up very well for her. They were both slower early. They were both faster late. And she was trying to make up ground in both of those races. I think she's in deceptively good form right now for a great trainer.
I like that the 6 Talbea is cutting back a little bit in distance here, Mike. They ran her going 1 3/8 last time out at Delaware, and I just think several things conspired against her. I don't think the trip worked out. I think the distance was a little far. The field was pretty good, and the soft going didn't help.
Yeah, I think all those things are true as well. I mean, ultimately, I don't think you could necessarily say that she was going to win that race, but man, did she get unlucky with the trip that she pulled that day, just unable to get clear in the stretch. She finally got room. It was way too late, and she actually ran, but the race was over. And a similar thing, happened to her 2 starts back then. They stretched her out for the first time off that layoff in the Curtana at Churchill, and she just got totally blocked through the stretch of that race, and just got clear way too late and was running again when the race was over. So, I get why they stayed long with her in her most recent start. Neither one of those last 2 trips has worked out for her. So maybe she is fine over a distance of ground. We just don't know. But we do know that she's pretty good going short. And I think she might pull the right kind of trip in this race. She's a little underrated and a little dirtied up.
And completing the field is the 7 Ready Lady for the great Roger Atfield. We just saw her finish 3rd behind Mr. Karras and Moira. And if you want to argue that she was maybe compromised by the lack of pace in that race, she should get a better race flow here. I'm just not sure she's the best closer of this group.
Yeah, I didn't think that she was either. It's just, I mean, she's okay. There's nothing wrong with her. She's going to be a great price in this race if you like her. But this is a tough spot. There are some good horses in here.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Canadian. Remember, it is a 1-turn 1 1/8 at Woodbine. You're going with Talbea. She's just been unlucky, and she might get the right race flow in here.
She's going to need to run the best race she's ever run, Dan, if she's going to win this thing. But I think she's a lot better than she looks on paper. She's going to be too good a price for me to pass up.
I think Dylan Davis is going to be aggressive on the 3, Mr. Karras. I think she's going to grab the lead from Fevrover, force her to take a seat. Then we're going to find out how good she is, because this is a big class test for her. But I like the way she scored off a long layoff last time out. 6-1-4-2 for Mike, 3-1-2-5 for me. It's the Grade 2 Canadian on a nice Saturday afternoon of racing at Woodbine. Good luck.